Hello everyone and welcome back to PAX and Recreation, and today we're going back to the beginnings with a starter kit for Bloomburrow. And what are we going to do with the starter kit? Well, just talk a little bit about it because, I mean, you can pretty much guess what's in here. But looking to hop into Magic. Now, this product, I think, is actually pretty genius for what it is. Now, Bloomburrow is the set that I believe is the infiltration set of, well, or one of them, of infiltration sets of the year, because the Assassin's Creed one kind of looks like the infiltration set. Now, to be clear, what I understand as an infiltration set is a set that is created to grab more players into Magic the Gathering, because we're a bunch of old people here, so we need new blood. Last year, it was Lord of the Rings. For some cosmic reason, Lord of the Rings also had a starter kit. Now, let's check the evidence. When it was Lord of the Rings, we had a starter kit. The starter kit looks pretty much the same, as you can see. Slight differences, but same visual, cardboard and so on. Now, it had different visuals, like 2 decks ready to play. Now it's just 2 decks ready to play. But it was also different colors. So green Celestia, so green-white versus red-black. And here is red-blue versus white-green, right? In terms of the thing is pretty much the same. In terms of the back of it, it's pretty much the same, except for the one ring, right? But you have the boxes, the manual, the card to play online, and then one deck, the other deck, and that's it. Now, interestingly, is that this was a Universes Beyond set, and this was the one for last year. Last year, they released the starter kit for Magic the Gathering. Well, actually, the year before, it was this starter kit. So this was the starter kit for Magic the Gathering, which had stuff from Kamigawa and Innistrad and so on. Kind of a mix, not much of a theme here, not much of a set here. It was a Magic the Gathering starter kit, which may be confusing for people, and that's why they decided to start branding them, starting with Bloomburrow, because you have this one, then they released this one and this one on the same year. So this one was March of the Machine, Phyrexia, Brothers War, kind of all together. Funny enough, different packaging to the Lord of the Rings one, maybe because that way the Lord of the Rings one feels more premium. This one is more cardboardy, right? And like thinner as well. The colors that fight just really depends on which decks they want to build, but same things are included inside. And then this year, not so long ago, they released the Assassin's Creed one. And the Assassin's Creed one, of all things, really has the same visual as the other one from last year. So you could assume that this will be the next way of, looking for things. And the thing was kind of foil in some places and not in others. And you had Ezio here and Eivor, but they didn't do the pop-up treatment here. They just did like the cards. It's very cool. But then you have Assassin's Creed here and so on, but it doesn't say anything here. And and then for some reason, which we know the reason, is because of video games and IPs and stuff like that, there was no code. It was just 2 decks, 2 boxes, and the manual. Now, with Bloomburrow, which is, mind you, a month after this, they went back to the previous format. And the previous format for Bloomburrow is the same as the Lord of the Rings one and the original starter kit. Now, why did they go back to plastic? I have some theories. And let me just remove all this stuff from here. But I have some theories, and I will tell you in a second. Now, there are multiple theories online, and those theories say that, well, it's the same that happens with the commander decks or with the boosters and stuff like that. It was designed a long time ago, 2 years ahead, and because of that, well, sometimes things happen. But packaging is not card design, so it's not 2 years ahead. What happens with here is very weird. Some people say that it's because of the factory that they send it to, or the designer that they send it to, or whatever. But I feel like it's very interesting that Bloomburrow goes back to a very non-eco-friendly packaging, because the previous ones, the Assassin's Creed 1 and so on, as you just saw, were just cardboard and therefore more eco-friendly. But Bloomburrow is not eco-friendly. And funny enough, Bloomburrow gets this special treatment of like, oh, Bloomburrow trademark starter kit instead of being a Magic the Gathering starter kit like the two others from the previous years. So by this point, one can assume that every year there's going to be a Magic the Gathering starter kit, and then one from whatever Universes Beyond product they want to push. So it was Lord of the Rings, then Assassin's Creed. I guess that next year is going to be Final Fantasy, and after that is going to be Marvel, right? So, and it's understandable because those are strong IPs and you want to bring people into how to play. And this thing is fairly, I think the normal price for this is $20. Although $20 is kind of a push, I will go for 15. Ideally, super ideally, this will go for $10 or $12, right? I've seen it for 10 and 12, but 15 is the ideal price. 20 is the okay price. Anything above 20 is just stealing, right? So this is not worth $20 by any means, right? So $20 is okay. Doesn't mean it's cool. It's just okay because it seems to be the MSRP. Although again, 15, great. Everything under 15, amazing. 20, well, if you really want it. Now, with Bloomburrow, we have a couple of theories. Now, theory number one is that Bloomburrow is the rich set from Wizards because it's funny, cutesy animals. So they really want to reach that demographic of kids and people that don't play Magic because they think it's scary, and people that play Pokemon and so on because, they see this and they go like, well, that's like serious Pokemon, I guess, so I can go after it. And it's interesting that they go with, it's a Bloomburrow starter kit, which is interesting. It feels there's this theory online that they are going to double down on the Bloomburrow IP and it's going to become some sort of Dungeons and Dragons playing or something, or for D&D campaigns or something, because it's cute animals and, forests have money. So there is that. Now, with all that out of the way, with all that minutia, because, you come to this channel for the minutia. Otherwise, you just see the deck boxes online, right? Let's see what's in the box, which, it's in the back, but whatever. So this is specifically a Bloomburrow one, which I find it incredible. I think it's also going to be easy for, for inventory and for them to have less headaches. Because basically what this means is that they can release a Bloomburrow starter kit. Then at the end of this year, they have Magic the Gathering Foundations, which is not the same as a starter kit, wink, wink. And you can have each set starter kit, right? So that's kind of the thing. The boxes, which, to their defense, they have the cutesy animals from each side, the commanders of each side, not to be confused because this is not a commander deck. This is just a standard Magic the Gathering deck. So these are cardboard boxes, nothing to write home about. It's okay to store your cards, but you can't fit them with inner sleeves or even normal sleeves. So if you put the sleeves on your cards, say goodbye to these boxes. You need to buy a deck box. And then you have the starter kit play guide. So the basics of Magic the Gathering, which in case you are new to them, just pause at any point to read. But funny enough, this is, the order of Magic. I love how Wizards progressively is pushing the whole lands go here, creatures go here, which is in the rules, but some people don't do it. And there's even a playmat with foundations that actually has the separation. Phineas, Ace Archer, so they put the template of the card, which is nice. It gives a thing. They change the colors. They put a little bit of flavor here and there. The expansion symbol, in this case for Bloomburrow. And the creature in the end. And then join the community, World of Magic, blah, 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 right? So not bad. And then the fact, which to be fair, is always the most important thing because these are actually the frequently asked questions. So, kudos here. To be fair, I feel like the fact should be this, but also like 2 pages inside of just like weird questions, right? Or just have a big ass thing here saying, you have a doubt? Google it, even though they can't use the word Google, but just Google it. Because a lot of times, if you word your question, even if you word it with exact same cards, someone already asked it. If you don't, try to word it in a way that is kind of generic, but it still applies to your case, and someone have asked it for sure, right? So a lot of plastic. Thank you, Wizards. And we have the main cards separate, because I guess this way you can see them without the plastic, and I guess that's the logic. But yeah, so you have on one side you have Birk or Birk, whatever. Long Ear of the Law is a rabbit soldier. It costs 4, 1 green and 1 white. It's a 4/4, has vigilance, and when it enters, you put a +1/+1 counter on each of up to 2 target creatures. Whenever a creature you control with a +1/+1 counter it attacks, double the number of +1/+1 counters on it, which is not bad. On the other side, you have Bria, Riptide Rogue, for 2, 1 blue and 1 red. It's a 3/3 Otter Rogue. It has prowess. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, this creature gets +1/+1 until the end of turn. It has other creatures, haha, get it? Other creatures you control have prowess, which is very good. If a creature has multiple instances of prowess, each triggers separately, and whenever you cast a non-creature spell, target creature you control can be blocked this turn. So, don't want to pick favorites, but one of these commanders is, in my opinion, is just way better than the other. Like, double encounters is crazy, but come on, guys, prowess. Everything else has prowess, and whenever I feel like they put this card in here as like, you want this card for your commander deck? You want to do a commander deck with this? Cool. Buy the starter kit, and there you have it. Now, in Wizards' defense, one thing that we will notice as we go through this is they do try to put the explanations to the skills in the cards, because it's a starter kit, right? So prowess, they explain prowess. They even explain what happens if they have multiple instances of prowess, which is cool, right? So, that's cool, because this is the starter kit. And, they don't necessarily control it, because the cards that are printed to be put here, well, they are printed specifically to be put here, but maybe, who knows, they just print the cards, cut them, and then add them to this pack specifically. But I don't think it's the case. I think they print exactly the cards that go here, and there you go. Now, the problem is that those cards are part of the set, and since they are part of the set, sometimes they can just add more text to them. So, well, a lot of them are fairly easy to follow. Now, this is kind of the format of starter kits, which means you get your main mythic card, then you get some rares, and then a bunch of commons and uncommons. And the maximum that you get is 3 copies of a card, which is not really the thing. In case you're really new to Magic, you should get 4 of each to play a standard and modern and so on. Like everything that is not commander, basically. So Mockingbird, not bad. Mindspring, draw X cards. Alania, I feel like the red-blue deck is sort of Vengeance. I feel like the red-blue deck is, maybe not, I don't want to say the better one, but certainly the more interesting one, at least for my play style. And it doesn't feel necessarily balanced. I feel like, well, creatures here are more expensive, but you have prowess and so on. Although, yes, I'm thinking about this as if it was a commander deck. The thing is that Bria is going to be in the middle of the deck. So if you get Bria, that's great. If not, the deck is whatever, right? So you have a bunch of draw. And Enchanted Sleeps, tap enchanted creature, doesn't untap during its untap step. Like, this really repeats a bunch of cards, or at least theme of the cards that were in the Assassin's Creed starter kit. If you want to see them, video link here or there on the description or whatever. This here is just like blue trying to stale as much as possible, and red doing damage. So, Stormcatch Mentor, haste and prowess and so on, right? Again, if you look at this deck thinking it is a commander deck, then yes, but it's not really. So you have all the lands, which I remember I said in the bundle video that the only way to get the normal lands for Bloomburrow was in the bundle. No, you can actually get them in the starter kit as well, but you can only you can get swamps, because there are no swamps here, baby. So Otter, which, can we talk about how kind of a douchebag move this is? Like, every booster in Bloomburrow has full art lands, and the starter kit is like, nah. You're getting the normal lands. Don't get crazy, baby. Like learn how to play first. Like, okay, I guess. You get 2 tokens, double-sided, so copy Otter and copy Otter. A guide card, which contrary to the bundle, here it actually makes sense that you have this. A code for you if you want to use it in Magic Arena. And an ad, because, you know, why not? So that's the Bria deck, which, you know, it's not a commander deck, so have it for what it is. Again, kind of simple, nothing too crazy. Not again, it's a starter kit. We're not going to go home with this, right? It's just cool. Now, this is the more typical Celestia deck, right? You have Serra Redeemer right there. It's funny that it's Serra instead of Sierra, which I don't know. But this is just doing counters, drawing cards, putting cards to sleep. The Celestia one is all counters, because every time you put white and green together, God knows, it has to be counters. They can't play anything else, apparently. So, counters, enchant creature. When Colossification enters, tap enchanted creature. Enchanted creature gets plus 20%. You can see a new player looking at this card and going like, wow, this card is the best. It's like, well, it costs 7. And you have to tap a creature. And then the next turn, there you go, right? And then the other deck has cards to put you to sleep. So they're kind of balanced. They try to balance them, right? Fecund Green Shell, Phineas Ace Archer. And then, you know, the cards to play, right? Warring Elder, Plated Provisioner, 3 copies of each, because God forbid you get 4. Rabbit Response, Repel Calamity. So, again, very wide, very plus 2 plus something. They're balanced. They're kind of okay. You know what I mean? Target you guys +3/+3 until the end of turn. Keep top lookout. They're more or less balanced. I feel like the deck with Prowess is not as dynamic as they want you to believe. Prowess will not be my favorite mechanic to introduce a new player to Magic. So you have rabbits that are rabbits, which is kind of a shame. Like 2-sided rabbits, like, come on. A guide card, a code if you want to use it, and an ad, of course. So, you know, that's it. Now, is it worth it? Like, I love it how this videos is like, more than half of it is me comparing boxes and stuff, and then the rest is like, okay, these are the cards, cool, bye. So, because let's be honest, you can check the deck list everywhere, so you just want to check the card, right? Now, my opinion on these two in particular, I prefer the blue-red, because that's closer to my playstyle, and I feel like the green-white is kind of boring. I don't know what they're trying to teach here, but in terms of mechanics, now the way I look into this is a starter kit, right? It's for you to learn how to play. And obviously, if you're looking at this video, or I am doing this video, as a person that knows how to play Magic, there is not that much, you know, for me. Like, there's no reason for me to buy this. Maybe except these cards that they now really, they put exclusive cards in here and they make them kind of not that sucky for Commander, so that you are like, okay, maybe I will buy it. Maybe I will buy it just to get the card. I mean, just buy the single, which, you know. But because the main 2 cards I think are exclusive to this thing, but I digress. So the logic here is, how are you going to teach Magic to a person, right? If you remember the Assassin's Creed decks, one was really into Death Touch, and the other was, because it was white, blue, black, and the other was really into equipment, because it was red, white, and God knows that's a Boros thing. So, you know, they don't have to teach you everything about Magic, but they need to have a theme and try to, you know, stick to it and so on. Like, I find it important that there are cards, because both players learn when any of them uses the cards, right? So, like, I feel like cards like this are very important, because it says enchant creature, and like the moment in people's faces when you explain to them, like, oh no, you can enchant the opponent's creature. It doesn't say your creature, it says a creature. And they go like, I can do that? And it's like, yep, right? And because otherwise they look at this card and it's like, why would I untap a creature. It's like, because you do it to the other person. It's like, oh, right? To have cards like that, to me, is more important than to have a theme here. And they try to have a theme here and some mechanics from Bloomburrow, like Offspring and so on. But, you know, like, for example, this one I feel is a shame that it's like reach, trample, haste, and they don't explain reach, trample, and haste. I think it's a shame. Obviously, because the card is already in the set and those keywords are very basic, so everyone knows them. But do they explain the keywords here? Let me check, because otherwise, at least those, right, the basics, I don't think they do. Creatures, mana, yeah, they don't. Keywords, abilities, right? Check out the online glossary via the link on page 7, right? So you scan this and you go to the glossary of like, oh, this is what this means. Which, I mean, is what we all do with Magic. You memorize it until you remember it, and there you go, right? So I'm going to act like it's, you know, but I will prefer, like, you know, this card has Vigilance, it doesn't explain Vigilance, and this card is from this, like, for the starter kit. So if this one explains Prowess twice, why this couldn't explain Vigilance? Which, yeah, it will make a lot of text into the card, but come on, compare the two. I mean, they are not that far away. Right? To be fair, sometimes explaining flying, right, and Vigilance to this, at this point in time, is whatever, but explaining Prowess, like, sometimes I need to remember what Prowess was supposed to be. So, you know, reach, etc. They don't explain all the abilities, but they're kind of okay. They're kind of balanced. They have a little bit of everything. I just feel that they don't touch all the things that they could. I like the Assassin's Creed ones for this year because one of them was like Death Touch. So you play differently with them. You can be defensive, offensive, and so on. And they have some interconnected mechanics. And then you have equipments and auras, right? Like one side had like enchantments to put asleep some creatures, and the other had equipment. But this one is just +1/+1 tokens, which is not bad. But you know, I feel like it should have like some equipment or something. And yes, it has the carrot cake. It's an artifact food, and you can sacrifice it or whatever. But like, it's not like, both play with tokens, but you know, it is what it is. I'm talking too much for a starter kit, but this is important to me because you need to teach people properly. Otherwise, why are we selling this, right? Like, what's the appeal if the product is not, you know, properly thought about? But the decks are okay. I think the decks are good for people to start. And although this one is easier to follow than this one for a new person, I can tell you that from experience, from watching people playing with this. And that is the review. Now, is it worth it? If you're an established player, not really. If you want a proper card, just buy the single, I guess. But for a new player, yeah, why not? This may be the best way to put a new person to play Magic, and, you know, use Bloomburrow as a hook, which is Wizards' intention all along. So do that. But you know, they will be like, oh, this is what you play. The commander thing is like, no, that's another thing. So, but you know, baby steps. So as a beginner's thing, this is not bad, and you can learn to play how to them. And the most important thing is the Magic Arena codes. I am not a Magic Arena simp. I don't like Magic Arena because I feel it's a lot, you know, very pay to win and so on, and I advocate for proxies precisely for that reason and blah, blah, blah. But if, you know, you give people the codes and they can learn how to play, the Magic Arena is always going to be a better teacher than anyone, right? Because you can't go around the system, right? So it is what it is. So thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and all those cool things that the cool kids do. And I will see you next time on PAX and Recreation. Bye.